Welcome everybody to the Off-Leash Hiking Safety Course. This is part one, and my name is Coach Sheldon with Fearless Canine. In part one, I'd like to introduce the equipment that I use on my off-leash hikes, specifically for high drive dogs that like to chase deer. Maybe they like to chase horses, maybe bicycles, motorcycles, so that I can facilitate the energy release, the stress relief of a proper off-leash walk, which is very important for these kinds of dogs, while having a way to bring them in and have control and have a safety net in case we end up in a sketchy situation. So I use e-collars for this, and I'd like to first introduce the Jugbo budget collar that I recommend. These are available on Amazon for under $150 a piece. And what I like about these devices is that they are reliable, they're waterproof, and they fit well on the dogs. So they ship with a multiple electrode sizes that could fit a short-haired dog or a long-haired dog. And optionally, you can purchase the comfort wings so that you can help keep the collar in place without having to tighten it down so much. It makes it more comfortable for the dog. And I also like this unit because it has configurable levels of buzz and electronic stimulation, and it also has a very loud audio cue. So when I hit the audio cue, which I've trained the dogs to know means recall, it is very loud. I can demonstrate that right now. And that gives me reassurance that I know the receiver is in range and the dog has been prompted to come back to me. And being able to hear that from a long ways away gives me a lot of peace of mind. If the dog breaks line of sight, I can hit the audio button and I can hear, and I at least know which direction they are if I want to find them. Drawbacks to this system are although you can pair two collars, two receivers to one remote, toggling between them can be a bit haphazard in my experience. So trying to remember which dog is which dog one and dog two can be a bit confusing if you're not consistent. And it just increases the odds that you accidentally apply an interruption or a correction to the wrong dog while you're hiking. I personally, if I were to buy more of these, I would have one remote for each dog and have separate remotes and just tape a label on so I know which one is for which dog, rather than trying to toggle between dogs on the remote. The second drawback to these is that they run hot on the electric stimulation. So the lowest setting of one, it goes from 1 to 15 on the electric stimulation, and the 1 is pretty high. So compared to a very expensive professional grade e-collar like a Dogtra or an Educator, the 1 is like 20% on a Dogtra, for example. So you're going to be zapping your dog pretty hard even at the lowest settings. So just keep that in mind. The second product that I've been using recently is from a startup called Heel, and they make the Roam 350 system. And this product is very interesting because it has a proximity feature. So the remote serves as a proximity device, and when the receiver, the collar, goes out of range, it automatically applies the interruption or the correction. So I put this on the dog and I have 5 different settings to decide how far away I want to let the dog go before it receives the correction, and then it applies that automatically and independently on each collar. This remote can be paired with up to 3 receivers, so 3 collars, and they're all labeled by color. So you can see the black, the gray, and the green. And this is the gray receiver, the gray collar. So in addition, if I need to use the stimulation, I can just press the button. So it's not just proximity, but also manual correction. And the correction the way that it works is it will give an audio cue first. It's a very quiet audio cue that only the dog wearing the collar can hear. It's very gentle. And if the dog goes out of range based on the setting that I have, say more than 50 feet away, then it will give the audio cue first, and it'll wait 5 or 10 seconds. And if the dog is back in range and recalling back to me, which it should be trained to do before you use the e-collar, then it will stop sending the beep. If the dog stays out of range or goes further out of range, within 5 or 10 seconds, it's going to escalate the correction to whatever setting I have. So there are 4 settings for the additional correction, which is the buzz at 1 level, and then there's the electric stimulation at 3 different levels. So just to review, I can have up to 3 remotes, and all of the dogs are going to be staying in a range that I configure up to 750 feet. And when any one of the dogs goes out of that range, that collar is going to give a beep first. And if they stay out of range, it's going to apply either the buzz or the electric correction based on my configuration. Very, very handy thing to have. The last thing I always carry is leashes, 1 leash for each dog. That way, if I do run into a car, ATV, horses, whatever, and I need to pull this, recall all the dogs back and put them on leash to wait things out while people go by, then I can do that very quickly and easily. And so I can carry a slip lead if I don't have collars on the dogs, or I can just carry a regular collar, but I keep these around my neck ready to go at any time so that I can act quickly if someone comes up and sneaks up on us out of nowhere. The last thing I will mention for safety on these forest walks is that the dogs, I have all of them wear collars, especially pit bulls, mastiffs, any breed that can bite and lock. It is important that the dog is always wearing a collar so that you can break a bite if you end up in a very bad situation. So in the unfortunate event of a bite, if the dog locks using the suffocation technique, which we'll cover in another video, you can always break the bite by using a collar, and that's why I always keep a regular flat collar on all of my pit bulls that I walk. The last piece of equipment I would like to mention is the Tractive GPS collar. There's also a brand called Fi, which I haven't tried, but I've been pretty happy with the Tractive. This particular device attaches to any collar with a rubber gasket. They also make a version where it's built into the collar, a little cleaner look. And this battery lasts for 14 days on this large version. The smaller ones, they may be a bit more comfortable for the dog, but you have to recharge the battery more often. And this gives me peace of mind when I'm walking the dogs off leash in the forest, because there's always a chance with a high drive working dog with a lot of prey drive like Macho that he blows through the e-collar, he doesn't listen to my recall, and he just takes off after deer, and he could be gone. I mean, he can run fast. He could be a long ways away real quick. And all I need to do at that point is open my phone and I can see exactly where he is, and I know I can find him. So I highly recommend, I believe this is a mandatory piece of equipment, honestly, because I get on Facebook groups and every day I see dogs going missing out in the forest or breaking out of the yards. And this is something that your dog can wear all the time. It's non-aversive, there's no electric stimulation, there's no correction that you can do with this. It literally just tracks the dog. It also gives you some idea about the respiratory rate, their activity levels, which you can track over time, which is kind of cool. But for me, the feature is really the GPS tracking and having the peace of mind of knowing that I can find Macho even if my equipment malfunctions and I can't call him back.